Okay, so two new commands today. Our first one here, so it's quite often that we need to draw things that are symmetrical in our drawings. In the past, I usually put a center line through anything that's symmetrical, kind of give you an idea of how often that happens. And so I have my top object here, which is this triangle here, and it is symmetrical with this other triangle on the other side. So in the past, we basically would either have to redraw our triangle, have to kind of do all sort of scaffolding around our center line, and it's a big complex process. So hence today the mirror command. And watch how cool this is. I just select my object here, I type mirror, and then what I need to do is specify a mirror line. So what it's asking me to do here is specify the first point. So I can click anywhere I want on my line as my first point, and then now it's going to have me specify my second point. And you'll notice as I'm moving here, it's slowly hinging here. And as long as I click right on my mirrored line, it's now ready. And then just looking here at my last command here, it's asking me, do I want to erase my original object? Yes or no. Default is no, giving us our symmetrical object there. So center line certainly, or our mirror line, does not have to be vertical. I can do a horizontal line here, and let's say I want to select both of these objects here, typing mirror again, this time selecting my bottom line here, and voila, I've now mirrored this top one down to the bottom, which looks more like a copy. And then one that's more complex, let's just say I just have sort of a random mirror line at an angle. So my object's going to be symmetrical, but symmetrical along this line. So I can select these two objects, type my mirror again, and this time select this line. And now the objects are still symmetrical, but they're symmetrical along this line. It's not a sort of clean ortho-like line. So that is our mirror command. Nice, quick, easy command to make things symmetrical. Question? Are you stretching? Okay. Next command, hatch. So quite often CAD will do a number of different types of filling of shapes, and the command for that is hatch. And the Mac interface here is pretty nice. It brings up this little hatch window here, and there's a number of different types of hatches. There's regular hatches, which is more sort of traditional drafting architectural stuff. You'll notice all these numbers, these all mean things in architectural languages. All these ISO is the International Standards Organization. So all these types of hatches mean things. Then there's some kind of brick-looking ones. There's one that means sand. There's some that mean grass. All these different things for architectural things like that. So these are our hatches, and say I just do this honey one, for example. So now I have my honey hatch selected here. I can choose a color. So I'll choose red. And then you just basically click inside the shapes that you want your hatches to show up. So I'm clicking these two, and if I zoom in here, we can see I have my nice honeycomb. And if I don't like my scale here, so this looks a little too dense, I can't really see my honeycomb. So maybe I change my scale here. I'll make it 4 times larger. So you can see now by selecting that, it's a little bit more legible. And then just like any other object in CAD, we can specify how it's colored. Is it colored by manually, or I actually think I have a hatch layer. I'm not in my regular template. But when you open up your regular templates here, I think I have a hatch layer. Yeah, here we go, hatch. So let's say I'm designing a house. Here's the yard, and the yard's going to have grass in it or whatever. So I'll go to my hatch layer, hatch this. My define hatches here. Let's search for grass. Here's my grass hatch. I'll just click in there. There we go. So I now have my hatch layer with grass inside. In addition to these sort of symbol-like hatches, we also have some other cool ones like gradients. So here you can select one color and another color, and it will fade them between. And there's different kinds of gradients. So say I want to do kind of a nice little sunrise looking one. So I've now added that hatch inside here. Like for today, and you can get creative today if you like in applying your hatches, but what I did in the assignment was just used solid colors. So here this color is just based on by layer, and it's in my hatch layer, so it's green. Or I can manually choose one of these sort of standard colors, or I can get real exotic here and go into my color selections here. Or there's another more kind of complex ways of color selection. But I kind of like that purple, so I can go with that. Let's see. As we get into more complex hatches, you may find if you're drawing something and you go to hatch, this is a pretty common mistake. So I have my, we'll call that complex thing here, and I go to hatch this. I didn't close my shape. I have this little opening here. So think of hatching as sort of pouring paint into a bucket, and if there's a hole here, all that paint's going to leak out, and Cat is going to get mad at you. Let's see what'll happen if I try to hatch this. Yeah. So it's saying that the boundary cannot be closed. I can't hatch this area because it's got an opening. Oh, and look at that. This is new. It actually tells me where my opening is, which is nice. So if you go to hatch and it's not working quite the way you expect, use your regen command. Sometimes that will solve your problem. Sometimes it helps to zoom out and make sure that you have the entire object that you want to hatch visible. Sometimes if part of it's off the screen, it doesn't hatch. So you'll find hatch to be a little temperamental. So kind of keep those few things in mind as you use it. Questions at all on either mirror or hatch?